Hello viewers, welcome to our VIP group. Today in our VIP group, we are coming to talk about indices and logarithms. But we first take what? Indices. Okay, so taking indices specifically, we are coming to start and introduce indices to our group, VIP group members. We are coming to solve it into detail. We are coming to teach you into detail so that you understand it very well to your satisfaction. So that each and every time you get questions on indices, you will not fail them. You always pass them, and you can never make a mistake of passing them. So okay, first specifically what we are coming to do today is that we are coming to talk about the laws and properties of indices. Okay, so going into the laws, indices has 3 laws. So let's go into it and talk about the 3 laws. So the first one says that when multiplying numbers with the same base, when we are multiplying numbers with the same base, we pick one and add the exponent. So let's take, for instance, we have a to the power 2 times a to the power 3. The bases are the same. We call this one basis. The a are bases, and the top one, the 2 or the 3, you call it powers. You can also call it exponents. Others can also call it index. So when you hear index, we are meaning the number that is at the top, or the particular thing that is at the top. So a index 2 times a index 3. Since the bases are the same, what we do is that we just pick one of the base and add the exponent. So that would be 2 plus 3, and that would be a to the power 5. That is it. So solving an example, you have 2 to the power 4 times 2 to the power 3, and that would be 2 to the power 4 plus 2 to the power 3, and that is how to solve the question. So 4 plus 3 is 7, so that would be 2 to the power 7. So this is how we go about it. Secondly, the second one says that when you are dividing numbers with the same base, what you do is that you pick one of the base and find the difference of their exponent, or you subtract the powers or the index. So specifically, when you have x to the power 4 divided by x to the power 2, what you do is that is subtraction of the powers. So you just pick one of the base and you subtract the power. So it's just 4 minus 2, and 4 minus 2 gives us a 2. So x to the power 2. There we go. Taking numbers questions. Example, you have 3 to the power 3 divided by 3 to the power 4. So that will give us, you pick one of the base, so that will give us 3, and you subtract the power, so that will give us 3 minus 4, and that is equal to 3 to the power negative 1, and then we go. Okay, the third law talks about that when a power is raised onto another power, we multiply the powers. You are a power on your own, you have also raised another power. What we do is that we multiply the powers. What do you mean? When you have a to the power 3 in a bracket, also raised to the power 2, what we mean is that this power has also raised another power. So what we do is that we multiply the powers. So that will be a to the power 3 times 2, and that will be a to the power 6. There we go. That is it. So specifically, when you have example, when you have 2 to the power 5, also raised to the power 2, that will be 2 to the power 5 times 2, and that is 2 to the power 10. Okay, so these are the properties of indices, and that is how we go about it. Okay, going into details, let's go to the properties. Yes, the properties of indices. These properties help us to solve indices. Very simple. Okay, the first property is what we call any number raised to the power 0. That is any number power 0. Any number power 0. So we say any number raised to the power 0. So we have a raised to the power 0 is equal to 1. So even if you have 1,000 raised to the power 0, 1,000 raised to the power 0 is also 1. Mind you, 0 is different from degrees. So take note, 0 is not the same as degree. 0 is not the same as degree. 0 is a bit bigger than degree. So any number raised to the power 0 is is 1. Even if it is trillion raised to the power 0, it's still 1. Okay, the second one is product of two numbers. Powers of product of numbers. Powers of product of numbers. Okay, powers of product of numbers. What we do is that when you have a exponent n, then 1. Also the second one, which I call it the powers of product of two numbers. Powers of product of two numbers. of two numbers. That is when you have a, b all to the power n is the same as what? A to the power n, then multiplying b to the power what? N. This can also be 10 if you have a to the power n times what? B to the power n is the same as ab the whole thing to the power what? N. You can turn it any way. So let's say for instance, if I have 2 times 3 all to the power n is the same as what? 2 to the power n, or let's take 2 to the power 2. So here will be 2 to the power 2 times what? 3 to the power 2. So there we go. Okay, the third one being it powers of quotient of what? Of two numbers. So powers of quotient. The powers of quotient. In maths, when we say quotient, quotient means division. So powers of quotient of what? Two numbers. So we are dividing two numbers. Division is also in the form of what? A fraction. So we have a over b. The whole thing to the power n is the same as a to the power n over b to the power n. And you can change it vice versa. So if you have a to the power n over b to the power n is the same as what? A over b, the whole thing to the power n. So any way they change it for you in an exams, you should be able to go about it. Okay, then from there we have what you call the negative index. I've put the negative index into two. There are two of them, which we call the negative index. Index or negative what? Powers. When I have a to the power negative n is the same as me having 1 over a to the power of n. You get it? 1 over what? A to the power n. So if you're having an example, we have 2 to the power negative 2 is the same as 1 over 2 to the power of 2. And this is our answer. The second one of the negative index is that when I have a over b, the whole thing to the power negative n, what I do is that for me to let this negative vanish, what I will do is that I will interchange the fractions here. That will be what? B over a, the whole thing to what? To the power n. And this is how we go about it. The properties of what? Indices. So this and many more is what we talk about today. So please remember what? To join us each and every time, and invite more friends to also join our VIP group so that they also benefit from what we are also benefiting. Thank you.